Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday evening. We're going through the next part of the whole presentation over here. Last week, we did the immune system in the form of the lymph system or the lymphatic system. And this week, we're going to cover the detox. That is quite a buzzword, and a lot of people talk about detox. And some people get a bit scared when they hear the word detox because, and the question really is it necessary? We're going to find out because in theory, our body is so cleverly designed that it can detox the whole time. Unfortunately, it tends to get overwhelmed and overloaded from time to time. So I'm going to share my screen over here and get into my presentation. That. Shrink everybody down. So, detox. Why do we need it? And how do we do it? First of all, the why. And some of the symptoms that show that your cleansing is working are things like different, this is a little bit of a nasty one, but different pooping habits, strong body odor, swollen lymph nodes, gas and bloating, nausea and vomiting, mood swings, headaches, and fatigue. So these are some of the signs to say that some of your immune system is working and some of it isn't, and that you actually need to help it along a little bit. So detox for your body can sound like a great idea. Who wouldn't want to do all they can to remove toxins from their system? And marketers of detoxification products, diets, and supplements claim that they can cleanse your system and provide all kinds of benefits. Things like more energy, better digestion, reduced inflammation, and of course, weight loss, or more importantly, centimeter loss. But are our bodies really that full of toxins? And do we need help to get rid of them? Toxins in your body come in two forms. Endotoxins, which are byproducts that your body makes, such as lactic acid, urea, and feces. We know what the last two are. If you are somebody who hasn't been exercising and you suddenly go out and you partake of my favorite pastime, which is parkrun, next day you're probably going to be quite stiff. And what that is, that was an overwhelming buildup of lactic acid in the muscles, and your body hasn't been able to get rid of it fast enough. And the other thing are exotoxins. Endo meaning in, exo meaning external. And these are toxins that come from outside your body. And these include chemicals from cleaning products and cosmetics, pollutants from the air or water, and pesticides on food. So just to clarify that a little bit, cleaning products are full of toxins. All you have to do is read the labels on most cleaning product bottles to see skull and crossbones and warning and all those sorts of things. Excuse me for 1 second. So there's a lot of toxins over there. Cosmetics are laden with things like lead and aluminium and all sorts of stuff that we're poisoning our body with on a daily basis. Then there's the pollutants from the air. So if you are unfortunate enough to live in a city or near a city, you know what it's like where there's a lot of traffic around. There's probably factories. There's all sorts of junk in the air. And water. If you've ever pushed water through tap water through a filter and see what it looks like, you'll understand what I mean about those pollutants. And then obviously the pesticides on food, and we're not really going to get into that tonight, but we know that with commercial farming these days, there's a lot of pesticide in and on food. And just in case you're thinking you're safe because you're eating organic food, organic just means that the pesticide is on the outside of the plant, not the inside of the plant. Now, here we go. There's a little bit of anatomy. The liver, sorry, I tend to lose my writing over here, is a detox machine. And it is made to do this. This is according to a liver cancer specialist and surgeon, Dr. Thomas Aloya. Detoxifying the normal things we eat, breathe, and ingest is part of its job. And it keeps us alive, which is wonderful. But the most important thing you can do to help your body rid itself of toxins is to take care of your liver. And that means maintaining a healthy diet so this important organ doesn't get overwhelmed. So in general, your body can quite easily handle all the toxins. Toxins come in, your body filters it through the liver, gets rid of it, and you're fine. Now think of this as a stormwater drain, or even just a normal drain down your road. And nothing happens, a little bit of rain comes along, the water runs down there, and it washes away a bit of the dust, and it washes away a few of the leaves, and maybe some rubbish that's lying over there. It'll wash that away, and it's not a problem. Now suddenly you have a storm where you're having like 30 millimeters of rain in about half an hour. That is a lot of water. Watch what happens to your drain. Now suddenly it can't just filter the water off the top because there's just too much. So that's where your floods happen. And this is pretty much what happens inside our body as well. Under normal circumstances, your liver will work brilliantly to identify the toxins, process them, break them down, get rid of them. Now suddenly you land up in an industrial area of town, or you're going out for a run and a truck goes past that hasn't had its exhaust pipe cleaned for the last 20 years, and it blasts your face full of smoke. Or yeah, there's all sorts of scenario where you can think of this overwhelming load of toxins hitting your body. Your liver can't cope. So the key, like with everything, is moderation. Don't pack your liver full of fat, sugar, or alcohol. So the machine keeps doing its job well. This is according to the surgeon. It will handle all the things it needs to handle as long as it's a healthy organ. Fried foods and sugary drinks are difficult for the liver to process, and too much of each of these things become fat in the liver. Think about today's diet. Now, a lot of people have been fortunate to be on holiday just recently, and they've been taking it easy generally. Now they're going back to that rushed lifestyle again. Those who were talking earlier about you've been on holiday and now you've suddenly gone back to work. Have you already fallen into your same old patterns of we don't have time because work is busy and we're catching up on what we've missed out on in the last few weeks? So we're just going to grab a quick snack. We're just going to grab a quick meal because we're tired, we're exhausted, we don't have time to cook properly. And we're just going to just quickly grab this thing. That's where the problem comes. Because if you just quickly do this on a regular basis, you're overwhelming the liver. Once that fat starts to develop, it's there for good. Even if you lose body weight, the fat in your liver will stay. And this is what's known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Quite a nasty thing, but it's, and one has to be very, very careful of it. But that's where you develop problems. And ultimately, that is where you'll find cancer starts from as well. If you drink alcohol, that can add more fat to your liver. And there you can get an alcoholic fatty liver disease. Detoxes are not meant to be a long-term eating pattern. So the results are not long-term either. This is according to the wellness dietitian, Lindsay Walford. As you begin eating normally again, the weight comes back on. But it is typically the fluid associated with glycogen storage rather than actual body fat. Now remember, if you're going on a diet, it is not a diet for a short period of time. If you are going on a diet, do yourself a favor, make it a complete lifestyle change. Don't ever slip back. Just like an alcoholic. An alcoholic gets clean, or a drug addict gets clean, they can operate brilliantly, but they have the smallest taste of alcohol or drug, and almost immediately they're back into that bad lifestyle. And dieting is pretty much the same thing, in my opinion. You can diet to lose weight over a short period of time. But as soon as you've gotten to your goal weight and you fall back into your old bad habits, you may as well have not bothered with the diet, because you're actually causing more harm than the little bit of good that you did. So be careful of that. If somebody wants to go on a diet, please guide them and make sure that it is a lifestyle change completely, not just a short-term diet. So now the next question, are these detoxes necessary? While some people believe that a full body detox provides health benefits, they are not necessary for most people. Just like a lot of people, like myself, I don't have to go on a diet to lose weight. That would probably be quite dangerous in my case. But I do need to make sure that I don't go on a diet to gain weight incorrectly and end up with excess fat. The body already has its own highly efficient detoxification system to eliminate toxins from the body. Sometimes people have medical conditions that require help with detoxification. For example, people with heavy metal poisoning may undergo a thing called chelation therapy. And this is a procedure that removes heavy metals from the body. Some types of detox recommend drastic dietary and lifestyle changes, while others involve using products that contain laxatives. None of these are really good. These kinds of detoxes can be extremely dangerous. So, there are 10 signs that your body is screaming out for a detox. Remember what we covered last year in that book called Your Body's Sign Language? Again, these are little messages and little signs that your body's saying, hello, anybody there? I need help. And these signs of toxin overload would include things like brain fog, chronic headaches, insomnia, irritability, skin breakdowns or skin breakouts, body odor, constipation, stubborn weight that you can't get rid of, exhaustion, and we're talking chronically, and muscle aches. There are so many reasons you should detox your body regularly, but don't just take our word for it. The 10 signs that your body is screaming for a detox, don't you think you owe it to yourself to purify your body? So these signs, as I've gone through over here already, are things like you're constantly feeling fatigued, stressed, or overwhelmed. And if you look around and you chat to people who are in heavy business or sort of corporate business styles, and they under a lot of stress, you will see these signs. They complain about continuously being exhausted. Now, there's being tired at the end of the day, and then there is this complete fatigue where you just don't have any energy. And I experienced that last year when I had COVID. I was tired of lying in bed, but I didn't have the energy to get up and move around. And when I did, I needed to make sure I moved slowly, got to a chair, and sat down, because I was completely and totally exhausted. It was a horrible, horrible feeling. And I can just feel for people who live with this on a daily basis. They fight for every step that they take, almost for every breath that they take, because they're just so overwhelmed and fatigued. They're exhausted mentally and physically. You experience unexplained headaches and or brain fog. And people go, oh yeah, I can't remember where I put my phone down. I can't remember where I put my keys down. Oh man, this headache is killing me. I've got this continual headache over here all the time. Those are the things. And often they'll blame it on, I didn't drink enough water. I've been staring at the computer screen too long. Maybe I need to get my eyes checked. I'm getting old. That's why my brain is fogged. They excuse these things. You often indulge in fried foods, processed meat, dairy, gluten, processed foods, refined sugar, or fast food. All of these, I think most people can see and understand how it would happen on a daily basis. You catch colds and viruses easily and or are often on medication. Do you know somebody who every 3 months they blowing their nose because their sinuses are infected? Every couple of months they take time off work because they're sick with a cold or flu or something like that. You know people who have contracted this latest virus. And while most people just shrug it off, it's been like a mild cold or flu, they've landed in hospital. These people are needing a detox of their system. The other sign is you're not at your ideal weight. You may be underweight, you may be overweight, but you're missing that ideal weight part. You have breakouts and blemishes and or a dull complexion. I recently did a skin demo with a young lady who was complaining because she's got a lot of acne around her face, around this part of her face, because she's in a business which requires her to wear a mask pretty much all the time. And she's in a kitchen. So with the heat, the steam, and being covered up all the time, her skin has broken out. I'm going to be sending a recording of this to her afterwards as well. But those are some of the little signs. You're exposed to common environmental toxins, including artificial fragrances and household chemicals. I don't know about you, but if somebody uses Stay Soft, for instance, not our soft, but the commercial one, that smell lingers in clothing and tumble dryers for ages. And maybe I've gone for so long not using those sort of things, but it sort of hits me when I smell it. I can pick it up instantly. You go into an office block and there's often these, I call them wet sneeze machines, because you have these little machines that every minute or 5 minutes goes and it sprays out a fragrance. Those things are toxins. You experience uncomfortable and or irregular digestion. So I was chatting to somebody today who was saying that they know somebody who has had constipation for a month. Ouch. And there are people out there, there are a lot of people out there, if you talk to them, they'll say, yeah, no, we go to the bathroom maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks. They battle and they're leaving themselves open to major disease. You often feel emotionally drained, unmotivated, or lack energy and enthusiasm for life. You know, you have these people who are really bouncy and they're full of life, like Jenny H. She's always bouncy and full of life, and she's right there. Now, think of her as being, oh, you know, I'm so depressed. I'm not happy. I really don't feel like doing anything today. I've got no energy. People like that need a detox, or at least they need to look at their diet. Then you have others who have trouble sleeping through the night. They toss and they turn and they're awake continuously. You've ever heard the term sleeping like a baby? Well, one of the ways of looking at it is sleeping like a baby means waking up every 2 hours crying. That's a sign that you need a detox. Now, what makes our near-life detox different? The near-life 3-day detox is a simple, easy, and effective way to reset one of the most important aspects of your metabolism, the processes of elimination. The old adage, you are what you eat, has never been truer than it is at this very moment, nor more meaningful for anyone embarking on a new journey towards optimal health, wellness, and vitality. Like it or not, every aspect of you reflects what you have knowingly or unknowingly consumed. If you ate a diet that was dependent on chemical-laden, fast, convenient junk food, that is what your body is made of. Plain and simple. We won't mince words over here. Additionally, those beneficial microorganisms, also known as gut bacteria or microflora, which is your personal microbiome that occupies your gastrointestinal tract, are likely not as beneficial as you might hope, because you get good bacteria and bad bacteria. In fact, just like you, they reflect that diet you've been eating. So if you're having a bad diet, you're going to have bad bacteria. Junk food breeds junk food gut bacteria. There is no other choice, because you're feeding it something that's going to give you something in return. Think of a seed. If you plant a sunflower seed, you're not going to have a daisy come up. You're going to have a sunflower. Same deal. So they are what you eat. There are many implications to how a poor diet, overloaded with junk food and deficient in whole food, can impact you. Possibly the most important is inefficient elimination. So we look at that pun of impact. Wow, you have bad food, you're going to have a compacted gut. You're going to be very, very uncomfortable. It is well known that all of the byproducts of metabolism, the 24-hour-a-day processes of energy production and utilization, growth, development, renewal, and repair, which is what metabolism is, are toxic to the body, because you have, say, a piece of fish for supper. So you have your fish, goes into your body. Now your body has to figure this thing out. It's got to work out, it's got to use energy to work out what it is, to break it down into tiny little components, to get rid of the omega-3s, get rid of the vitamins, get rid of the minerals, get rid of the protein, use what it needs, get rid of the waste products, ditch it, get it into the system, get it out of the body via the natural way of doing things, and then renew and repair any cells that may have been damaged in the process of enjoying your fish for supper. Junk food diets tend to slow down natural elimination of those toxins, because your body is so busy trying to work out what part of the junk that you've just ingested is actually food that it can use, and how much of it is poison that it needs to get rid of, that it can't get rid of all the other things that are in your system. Therefore, we get this flood. When this occurs, things end up staying in the body longer than they should, allowing them to build up or even to be reabsorbed. Think of a couple of sorting trays, and you get this pile of mail and you go, junk, normal, I need to check it out. But the pile keeps growing, and these piles don't, the junk pile grows, but now there's other things. So you look at the more important ones, but your junk pile is growing, and you don't have time to get rid of that junk mail. So it sits there in your mailbox and becomes a problem. Same with the toxins. Your body can't get rid of them, so it sits in your house, which is your body. The result is a loss of the normal protection afforded by healthy elimination and truly beneficial microbiome. The near-life 3-day detox helps you reestablish healthy elimination and the detoxification processes. So it helps you move out the accumulated metabolic waste and clean house in your gastrointestinal tract, moving out the junk food generated bad gut bacteria and moving in the whole food loving good guys. So it gets rid of the bad bacteria, brings in the good bacteria. Healthy, regular elimination and the detoxification that it provides are important all the time, but never more so than when embarking upon a new journey towards the optimal health, energy, and vitality you are seeking. Some people like being sick all the time. I know I didn't enjoy it. That continual exhaustion, the body aches, the headache to a certain extent in the beginning, I didn't like that at all. And I wanted to get over it as quickly and as easily and as fast as possible. And this is what we want to do with this detox. So resetting this process can be the key to your long-term success. So anytime you meet somebody who has not had exactly the healthiest lifestyle and they've decided to change, we're going to change this year, we're going to get healthy, we're going to lose weight, etc., start them on a detox program. It's going to be very, very beneficial for them. Ignoring it can make it much more difficult for many, and for many, completely impossible. So, what's in the Alive Detox program and how do they work? I think I'm going to end this right here, right now, because I want to go through all of our products in the detox in a more in-depth manner. And we've only got about 10 minutes left right now. So I think I'm going to cut it now because I'd like to expand on these products as we go through it, to explain the how, the why, how do they work, why do they work, what are they doing in our system. And I don't want to have to rush this now, so I'm going to continue this in part 2 next week. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to open the floor. Does anybody have any questions so far on what I've explained? Does it make sense about this buildup of toxins in the system and where and how it can cause such problems? I'll leave the recording running for a bit if you want to ask questions. Please just unmute yourself if you want to ask. Okay.
I would like to say something. I can remember my aunt used to be a nurse at Wentworth Hospital. And she was telling us there was quite a few people that came in with constipation. She said it wasn't a nice face.
No.
So yeah, every time if I think, oh, I want this or that, and I think, no, is that what I want to eat? Has it got fiber in? So I'm very conscious of what I'm eating. It's not worth at the end of the day just to eat junk.
Correct.
I don't like it. Thank you.
And the thing is, thank you, with their constipation, I often see that in hospital as well, patients who are there with chronic constipation, and it is incredibly difficult to get rid of that blockage. And they end up having surgery, they end up having scopes from both sides. I'm not too sure about you, but I'm not that keen on having a camera shoved in the top or the bottom. It's not fun. It's unpleasant. And if there is that blockage, the longer that constipation is around, the longer that toxin stays in your body, the greater the risk of you developing cancer. And bowel cancer, colorectal cancer are very, very common things these days and getting more common. They're not fun. Not to mention all the other issues that you have with that toxic buildup in your system. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.
Well, I know that my mom, she suffered from a fatty liver, and that was brought on through taking arthritic medicine that was prescribed by a doctor, and how she suffered towards the end. If anybody has any inkling that liver is going that way, it's best to have a healthy lifestyle and preserve yourself rather than end up like, because you basically bleed to death.
Yes, because if your liver quits working properly, you're being poisoned from the inside out. and it is not fun at all to experience or to watch. It's actually quite scary to watch. Right, I'm going to stop recording over here.